Ancient woodland restoration is considered to be a cost operation by many, but in truth it's one of the most valuable and one of the most important long-term investments that you can make in your woodland. So this is an area of temperate rainforest. It's much more open, much more vibrant, and that's been achieved by its restoration over the past 15 years. And that's largely been a cost-neutral operation. As a landowner, you might be curious to understand why it's important to restore these native woodland habitats. Well, Dartmoor in particular has some of the most diverse and richest temperate rainforest habitats, not only in the UK, but actually worldwide. And so they are really important ecological niches that we need to look after as a nation. Many of the woodlands on Dartmoor face an uncertain future. We're going to see longer, hotter, drier spells in the summer, and we're going to see much wetter winters. So it's important for us to manage for the future and trying to increase the resilience of these sites. Landowners who are considering restoring their woodlands might be worrying about the cost of that operation. And in recent years, we've been trying to work out how we can actually improve the economic situation. And we've developed a project called Woodland Moor, where the timber that's coming out of a number of these sites is actually utilised for peatland restoration. And so there's a double win there. There's a restoration of the woodland, but there's also a restoration of peatland. The UK is one of the largest importers of timber in the world, and it's really important when we bring these woodlands back into management that we actually manage the economic value in them. So not only does that help actually fund the job, but it's actually also really important in terms of feeding that timber to the local supply chain, so it's used by local wood using industries. So what we're looking to do is optimise that value. You might be wondering how we take an undermanaged woodland and begin managing it again. Well, most of these undermanaged woodlands haven't seen any kind of management for 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. And that means that they're congested. They've got too many stems in them and they're really dark. There's essentially too much material in there. So we begin the process by slowly thinning and removing those stems. And that enables us to remove the stems that have some value potentially, but at the same time we're bringing more light into those woodlands, and it's the light that's the key in terms of restoring them. That's what's going to bring back the ecology, that's what's going to bring back the richness of the habitat. When we're bringing these woods back into management, you might be thinking, what are the challenges? Well, one of the challenges is around constraints. So we wouldn't want to be doing this work during the breed and bird season. So that's kind of 1st of March to the end of July, say. And then once we get going, we're really looking at a thinning cycle of every 3 to say 7 years, and it will depend on the woodland type. For many landowners, they might find it a daunting prospect to start managing their woodlands that they see as these kind of pristine habitats that haven't been touched for many, many years. But the truth is actually inaction can be as damaging for many of these sites as taking action. So actually getting involved in managing your woodlands is a positive, not only in terms of the timber, but also in terms of the ecology of these sites. But how do you do that practically and financially?
Hello, my name's Jess. I work with woodland owners to help them manage their woodland. Woodland management can sometimes feel overwhelming, but we're here to help. So the first step is an ancient woodland assessment. Here we'll have a look around your woods, see what you've got and what management is required. If you choose to take the project further after that, the Woodland Trust can completely manage the harvesting and sales of your timber. We'll cover all the paperwork and manage all of the contractors at no cost to you. But don't just take my word for it, let's go and meet a woodland owner who's been through it already. Thank you for letting us stand here in Pencleve Wood, just outside Oakhampton, Martin. This is your wood, and I believe it's been with your family for a long time.
It has, yes. My grandfather came here in '52. I knew the woods needed maintenance, things doing to it, never had time, maybe financially, it would probably cost me a lot of money, and you came along and it seemed a very good idea. You've done all the process, all the paperwork to it, and it's basically just happened, and this is what I was looking for.
So from a Woodland Trust point of view, managing a woodland has significant impacts. But for you, Martin, what were the key reasons that you decided to go ahead with this project?
It wasn't the money side of it, because that's not the point. The point is looking after something that's been here for a long time.
So with regards on the demands of your time over the duration of the project, how much time and effort did you have to put towards?
Very little. As a farmer, if you think you haven't got time for this, there's not a lot of time you've got to spend on it, because it's been done for you.
Yeah.
I basically sat back and read the emails, and yeah, well, that's brilliant, because farmers haven't got the time.
No.
And I think that's what's probably stopping a lot of farmers thinking, no, we're not doing this.
So a couple of months after the majority of the work's been done, further into the wood it still looks very fresh, but here in this ancient bit of woodland we can see what we'll expect to see colonise into your wood, and all those lovely bits of light that have been brought to the forest floor will begin to look a bit more like this.
Looking at this, you can see the bonus of it already, and then looking across to the bit which has not been done, it looks dull and no light, and it basically looks dead. This looks to be alive.
So you can already see those
Yes.
changes starting to come across on the
It
forest
seems
floor.
to have woken up.
Yes.
That's how I can put it, basically.
So this has worked really well for Martin, but what if your woodland looks slightly different to this? Can we still add value?
Within your woodland, you might think you have a whole variety of timber species that aren't necessarily valuable, but we've found really interesting ways that we can change that. We've been experimenting across the Dartmoor with a variety of different timber species the last couple of years, and we've found that for timbers like beech, for example, that maybe aren't considered to have a value anymore, we can connect with local supply chains and we can make them into door frames and window frames and even into glue laminated timber, and get all of these products into this high push that we're now seeing for timber and construction. So woodlands undergoing restorative management not only is going to bring your woodlands into a really thriving, resilient, rich space to be, but also you can make incredible, really high value products like this door. We've made this out of alder. So there's loads of opportunities out there for your woodlands, no matter what the species are.
Over the next 4 years, as we work together to bring more woodlands back into management, we hope that will lead to a more resilient future, a richer future for biodiversity, a greater benefit to the local economy and to the landowners. No matter the size of the woodland, if you're a woodland owner with undermanaged woods and you're wondering what to do next, it's simple. Contact the Woodland Trust.